High-speed pursuit leads to a crash into a wall, the ABC7 report.
Valley Vista Boulevard off the 405 freeway. Into the bushes! Into the bushes of private property at the end of the exit ramp there, and he collides with that vehicle, a parked car in the driveway there. CHP with their guns drawn.
It all began a short time earlier with a suspected DUI driver refusing to stop and pull over.
It's another red.
Well, he's going to have a whole lot more charges. There was a small brick wall in front of the bushes, about 2 foot tall. Saved the other car from major damage, because if it would have just been the bushes, he'd have plowed right through it. So that was an interesting shot in the valley. See what we got up. Chinese sex slave appears to be abducted by a Honduras migrant. Oh, this stuff doesn't happen at all. No, it's a figment of your imagination.
After police say she was abducted, and there is video right there showing the woman being carried away by a man. Katira Winfrey spoke to a neighbor whose home security camera alerted him that something was not right.
No kidding. Being abducted, as you see, by a Honduran illegal immigrant, a Chinese sex slave. We can guess how old she is. She doesn't look very tall by the way this guy's got a hold of her. My guess, my speculation, she's probably about 13 or 14 years old. Again, for all of you that say this stuff doesn't happen, or you're so concerned about illegal aliens or Trump or Tom Homan or Kristi Noem, mean white hillbillies and the whole tribe. This is, when you're supporting this. A little bit. San Bernardino cops recovering a stolen truck. I guess they figure the horn's gonna work.
It was at this moment that he knew.
There they go, San Bernardino cops. Always get their man, as they say. Oh, you think California's such a great place? Newsom's doing a great job, Buffoon Bass, Mayor Baby Jesus in Moreno Valley, Victor Manuel Perez and the crew are doing such a bang-up job running the state of California. Oh, yeah?
Welcome back. California getting yet another hard lesson in economics. The state implemented a $20 minimum wage for fast food workers in April. That was April of 2024. A little over 1 year later, it's estimated that the state has hemorrhaged, get this, 18,000 jobs. The complete opposite of the employment trends across the rest of the country. And I said this before COVID when they were
about 25% of the fast food workers are now on the unemployment line. And that ding-dong, former congressman, now mayor of Oakland, Barbara Lee, wanted to go to $50 an hour. It's false economy. You can't wish money away. It's called inflation. That eats away at your wealth. They should be teaching that in the worst schools. Well, that's how we got to be the worst schools in California, because we're not teaching this kind of stuff. 1 wounded, 1 detained in a deadly Pomona shooting.
1 person was detained, 1 person hospitalized after a shooting on the 60 freeway in Pomona. It happened last night around 8:30 near the Gary Avenue off-ramp. The victim was shot in the chest. That person's condition is unknown. The CHP recovered at least 2 handguns. There's no...
Well, the condition of the one that was shot was updated to being deceased. Then, if you don't know, that Gary's like the back way into the Pomona Fairgrounds, just before your before you start up into the Kellogg Hill and everywhere. So easy to find spot, or kind of a common spot. If you're in the IE area, it's 1,000%. Is anyone above the law?
No one, especially the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above.
We're going to hold them to that. Russiagate, COVID, election fraud, tons of other things hopefully will be breaking on the horizon. Black Sabbath lead singer and then a solo career. Some say the father or the top dog in hard rock and roll, Ozzy Osbourne, passed away today at 76. He just gave a concert a couple weeks ago. Well, that was his final one, because Ozzy Osbourne dead at 76. Rest easy, sir. California, home to some of the worst and least educated city, study says. That's why people believe you can just jack up the minimum wage. I know it's going to be glory days. And you get Bruce Springsteen, the trader, to sing that for you. There's a lost art. Hand painted. There's on an ambulance, fire trucks, police departments. Back in the day, there was a dude out there that hand painted all the logos, stars, fire departments. And I think we're missing that personal touch from today with the computer generated stickers to the good old sign painter. It's a lost art. We're gonna have a lot this and a lot more local news, and we'll pick up on some of these stories and more on today's show. We thought. There's the funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday. Live at 5 in the Evil FB Network, Rumble, X, YouTube, on the Roy Blecker channel. All that good stuff. Rumble, I think I said that. It's one heck of a day. Things never seem to calm down. We got some breaking news we're trying to roll down here. It just came up as we came on the show. And we'll see, it looks like, and yes, U.S. Olympic and Paralympic officials bar transgender women from competing in women's categories. I just saw that as I was coming on the air. I wonder if California is going to, we've had this big fight. Sonia Shaw, Jennifer Shea, I think it is, Jessica Tapia, lots of folks out here, Claudia Ramirez, have been fighting this battle. Trump said it was like an 80-20 battle. I think it's like 97 to 3%. for time immemorial, in all of recorded history, we've had separate sports for boys and girls. We've had Title IX, which was 50 years ago, or whatever it was. You know, the boys in college sports and high school sports were getting too much of the money. Not that they were bringing it in, but whatever. Okay, we'll kick more over to the ladies. Now the whole tranny movement tried to hijack the whole thing. And this was, you know what, you got the kid from the boy from Rupa Valley who's beating all the girls in the long jump state competition and everything. Now the Olympics and Paralympics, that's for the handicapped, are barring transgender women from competing in women's categories. Well, let's just take a gander at the ABC 7 report.
The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee has effectively barred transgender women from competing in women's sports. The change was actually announced yesterday on the committee's website. It references an executive order signed by...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the 2020 Olympics going to be held in Los Angeles? And that was when Trump negotiated in, and he didn't think he was going to be president. He thought he was going to be, second term was going to be 2020 to 2024, and you're out of here. Well, he said one of the good things is I got the Olympics here in 28, and I will be president in his last year when they're on. So in Los Angeles, at the Olympics, no boys, men, and girls, women's sports. Period. End of story. Let's see what else the report says. Maybe.
By President Trump, which threatens to rescind all money from organizations that allow transgender athlete participation in women's sports. The move follows a similar step taken by the...
So,
ABC's David Muir.
We have the breaking news, as they say. What an overused term. I don't even like to use it. It's used so much. You know, is World War III going to start? Okay, we'll come up with breaking news or something, you know. But we're going to get to the 28 Olympics in Los Angeles. I wonder if Karen Bass is going to boycott. Gavin Newsom's going to boycott. Well, he won't be in office. He'll probably be trying to run for president. I wonder if they're going to come out to boycott the 28 Olympics. As you heard the report, the Trump administration has sent, Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education, sent a 10-day notice to Newsom, Rob Bonta, Tony Thurmond, who's Superintendent of Public Instruction. Hey, get off the dime. Either cut the boys and the girls' sports, or we're cutting off your federal funding. So that's what they mentioned. Trump hasn't threatened it. He said, we are going to do it if you don't straighten your act up, California. Gulag Gavin Newsom. So it's going to be a very interesting trip. I want to see the word salads coming out of Karen Bass's and the whole crew, Barbara Lee. I would march those 30 mayors that were griping about the Ella Migra. To march them up there and say, we're all going to protest. We're going to protest the Olympics because they won't let the boys that can't make it on the boys' team beat up on the girls. I mean, you should be calling for a boycott of the Olympics. If it's good for California schools, if it's good for our grade schoolers, to junior high to high schoolers, then they should be allowed to compete in the Olympics. You know, whatever. The dude with the Johnson that got his medals taken away, rightly given to Riley Gaines and others. It's maybe it's an awakening. Maybe we got a chance. I think so. Too many things are breaking our way. It was released today. Todd Blanche, the number 2 deputy attorney general under Pam Bondi, said, I'm going to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Of course, Madame of Epstein Island and the whole sex scandal and everything. And that has to do with the first story. And if he trafficked, and if Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked underage minors for sex, and who knows what else, they deserve the punishment. But I do agree. The ones that participated, the boys or girls, in some cases, who were using the sex trafficked minors should be prosecuted too. So this is what, and Epstein took the easy, what was he, 75? He took the easy way out. Whether he killed himself, I think I'd say suicide with help. He was 75 or wasn't, looking at, guy lived a life of luxury. Now he's down to an 8x10 cell with some other dude probably doing who knows what to him. He probably thought, I'm not getting out of here. Had enough of this. Out of here. Maxwell's still, I don't know, what's she, in her 50s? So she's still got a good another 20, 25 years or so, 30. I mean, most women live to close to, the average age is getting close to 90. What is it, 87 or something? So she's 57. Say on average, she's got another 30 years. Does she want to be sitting in the Gray Bar Motel until maybe she can get out at 82 or something? Then what does it matter? I mean, it's better than nothing, but I mean, if she sings a tune, and I'm no lawyer, give legal advice, but this is my understanding of how this works. Todd Blanche, U.S. Attorney's Office, can go in and say, okay, we're going to grant you 24-hour immunity. Nothing you say can be used against you. What do you got? You want a deal? You want to get out of jail? Who are you? Who are you turning in? Name names. Not Joe the Grinder. We want to know who participated in enjoying the sex trafficked teenage girls. Who's on the list? Who are you willing to testify against? And this is the one thing I've thought Trump did not handle the whole Epstein thing well. Pam Bondi, of course not. Starting off with the binder fiasco. Oh, we're releasing all the stuff. Then releasing what already had been released. Then saying, oh no, case closed, nothing there, no client list. Now, Alan Dershowitz, who was falsely or steal and not in the possession. And he said they're explosive. And it's really hard to believe that Pam Bondi or the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, I'm sure when Biden and the crew were in there, and Merrick Garland, I'm sure a lot of stuff, got missing. I'm sure shredders were working. That's where Ghislaine Maxwell comes in. If she's willing to testify, yes, or hey, I've got documents hidden out somewhere, yada, 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 you guys have probably never seen. And we need to get to the bottom of the Epstein thing. Because of the last 6 months and a couple days, like I said, the whole Epstein thing has not been handled well by the Trump administration. Of course, the new Russiagate thing and Tulsi Gabbard, who I have a lot of faith in, we've got that going now. The Martin Luther King files got released. The JFK files got released. So let's get to the Epstein stuff. I think it's important. And again, it isn't enough. With all the allegations and everything that went on, it isn't enough that Maxwell and Epstein were the only ones to stand trial. So hopefully we're working in the right direction on the Epstein thing and clear that up, because we don't need, it's going to be a battle coming in 26. Of course, locally, which I contend, and I think I'm 111% right, we don't pay enough attention to our local school board, city council, county board of supervisors, sewer cleaning commissioner. I got to throw that one in. Somewhere we got to find it. There's got to be a sewer cleaning commission somewhere. I'm sure there's a sewer commission. There's water boards, but there's got to be a specific one that's labeled out. We got to find that. But anyway, nationally, we only got a 5-point lead in the Republicans in the House of Representatives, 3 in the Senate, 53-47. I think we're at 220, 215 when they have the special elections, because there's 2 or 3 Democrats that actually died of that, so they're down a few. But I mean, when it all shakes out going into 2026 in the Congress, it's going to be 220 Republican, 215 Democrat. And another part of this, and there's a deal going around, Trump's making buddy-buddy with Sam Altman, who used to work for Musk on the AI deal, and they had a falling out. And now Trump's cuddling up to Sam Altman, which is not a bad idea. I mean, I'm not necessarily against that. But Trump and Musk need to put the personal stuff, whatever it is, aside. Because it's going to be, Democrats are going to be coming hard. Because they only got to pick up 3 seats. 3 seats switches the balance of power. Then Hakeem Jeffries is Speaker of the House. And the next 2 years of the Trump administration, you think it's been difficult to get whatever they've done to this point done? It'll be practically impossible. They will stall everything, and 3 in the Senate. Well, I guess technically they got to get 4. But because it's 53-47 and JD breaks a tie. But if you got, as we see now, you're, especially on the Republican side, you're always going to, they don't go in lockstep like the Dems. That's a dictatorship. So again, it'll be very interesting. Wage for hamburger flippers. Oh, we're going to do this. Oh, nothing's going to happen. Layoffs like crazy. 23% down. 18,000 layoffs. Here's more from the Fox Business Report.
Advocating for $15 minimum wage, and then during COVID, when wages did go up because we saw such massive inflation, that if the price of your Big Mac meal, and that's what an average person can buy for lunch, is $15, but they're making $15 an hour, then you sort of defeat the purpose of the higher wage. California took it to the next level, to the point where businesses then couldn't be competitive and they had to lay people off. Lou.
Yeah, I mean, you said it in your intro, a hard lesson in economics. We knew what was going to happen, and yet they willfully went forward. This is a math problem. It's a math equation that can be easily solved before you put into place a really bad policy. Beyond having to lay people off, businesses leave and flee states that require higher minimum wages. We need to, remember, it's a minimum wage. It's not.
Lindsay Snyder, pretty much sole owner of the In-N-Out Burger empire, billionaires, said not only is business moving my headquarters and myself and my kids to Franklin, Tennessee, because what? It's dangerous to raise kids in California. It's next to impossible to do business in California. People can't afford to go out to eat now. Just like you said, just to get a fast food lunch, $15 at an El Cheapo place. It used to be $5. You could go have lunch for $5, and that's not too long ago. Maybe 4 or 5 before COVID. You could go to most fast food, family restaurants, whatever, your local eatery, and eat for $5 or $6 for lunch, maybe 7 or 8 for dinner. So if you go to a restaurant, it's 10 with the tip. Now you can't get out of the fast food joint hardly for less than $15. And people can't afford that. Like the man said, it's a simple issue of economics. We learned this in grade school. Grade school. About inflation. And you just can't, if you raise the price of money faster than the production rate goes down, you lose purchasing power. Your money doesn't buy as much. Even though you have more of it, it doesn't buy as much goods and services as it did before. It's not complicated. It's not hard to figure out. It's been known since time immemorial of human freaking history. And it will continue to be that way. If you get a raise and it's going to be sustainable, you've got to put out that much more production plus, or the company's going to go broke. Or you're going to get laid off. Or they're going to replace you with a machine. It's
30 seconds, Roy.
simple economic fact. We'll touch on this a little bit more. As Sean said, when we come back on the Mighty Mitt KMET on this effervescent news day.
All right, here we go. 10 seconds. IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Views expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes out every Monday through Friday. Live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join your vast video audience on the evil FB network, Rumble, X, YouTube on the Roy Blecker channel. That'll teach you to take a drink just before you come on and you get it down the wrong windpipe. Just as you're getting ready to come on the air. And that's why you see me look like I was going to choke to death on that. But a lot of stuff going on. We had the dude crashing through the brick wall. California fast food joints laying off almost a quarter of their workers over the $20 minimum wage. Oh, like that wasn't predictable. And I want to hear all the hue and cry. Oh, this is not going to happen. Don't listen to those white hillbillies. They're just racist, homophobe, sexist. Even if we are. But that doesn't preclude, if you jack up the price more than the productivity is coming out, there's going to be less of something. Cut the portions, cut the food down, turn the air conditioning up, fire people. Automation. Something. Business does what it has to do to survive. It only knows one color, and that's green dollar bills coming in. And it knows in order to survive, it's got to have more coming in than going out. Everything. Gas bill, water bill, employees, food, paying the window washer, whatever. Toilet paper for the bathroom, beef tallow to fry the fries, whatever. There's got to be more money coming in than going out, else the business does not survive. It goes bankrupt. We're living that California dream. That's why Lindsay Snyder's bailing out, moving her family over the dangerous conditions and everything. And eventually the headquarters will be in Franklin, Tennessee for the once California iconic hamburger chain, In-N-Out Burger. The other breaking news that just came out, the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, brought to you by Donald J. Trump. Have to throw that in. Is now, they said the Olympics and the Paralympics are going to be in Los Angeles. No trans, this is how they put it on ABC 7. Bar transgender women from competing in women's categories. There is no such thing. What they are banning is boys, men in women's, girls' sports. Ladies, you should be the ones demanding, and a lot of you are: Jennifer Shea, Claudia Ramirez, Sonia Shaw, Jessica Tapia, from around this area. But all of you should be at your school boards. You should be in Newsom, Bass, and all these clowns' grills. Baby Jesus here in Moval. You should be in their grills saying, no, we're not. It is officials ban boys and girls from women's sports everywhere. Grade school, preschool, college, professional, whatever. And you should be demanding ABC, those 5 cackling hens you listen to, or Oprah Winfrey, or any of that stuff. You should call them out and shout to the rooftops every time. There is no such thing as a transgender woman. You're either male or female. So again, like I said in the intro, I want to see Buffoon Bass down there and get those 30 mayors or mayor pro tems like that Gonzalez chick that was getting, encouraging the gangs to protect their turf. And all of them that were whining and crying about ICE and this and that, and have been advocating, saying, oh, you're a bunch of homophobes. Show mean and Neanderthal men. I want you should be boycotting the 28 Olympics in Los Angeles and the Paralympics wherever they're at. You should be boycotting the trials because obviously if they're not competing, because, starting, I think in 27, you'll start getting the Olympic trials to see who gets in the Olympics. This is, and again, we're getting a renaissance. Ghislaine Maxwell is going to get a meeting with Todd Blanche, the Deputy U.S. Attorney. So we'll see if she's going to sing like a canary to get out of the jail time she's in over the Epstein Island fiasco, which needs to happen. At least Trump, this is the first positive sign since the Pam Bondi bookbinder fiasco, 3 or 4 months ago. that we've seen first positive action Trump's fine. And this is Trump's finally getting, I think, hopefully straight on the Epstein deal. And we need to find out. Maxwell and Epstein are the only ones that should not go to jail. Anybody that took part in having sex with minor women down there in whatever conditions, they need to be in jail too. So if Ghislaine Maxwell wants out, she should start singing like a canary. Hopefully that situation will get its righted ship, because like we said, the 26 midterms are coming, and there's a razor thin, the Dems only got to flip 3 seats right now, and Hakeem Jeffries is Speaker of the House. And if that happens, the next 2 years of the Trump administration will just be a food fight. They can pretty much stop anything in the House of Representatives. And believe me, with Pelosi, they're pulling the strings on Jeffries because she hates Trump. There will be nothing. Trump will be lucky if he gets to get on Air Force One, whether it's the cutter plane or the one that's wore out or whatever. We're going to delve in. We've got more. There's been more congressional testimony last week we haven't got to. And we've said that's tying the supposedly non-government organizations who facilitated most of the illegal immigration, the 20 to 30 million that came over under the Biden administration. They used our money. No, the government took our money at the point of a gun, gave it to the NGOs. The NGOs got them up here, paid off the coyote, gave them the money to pay off the coyotes and the cartels. And we've said I've said this since the 70s. Illegal people in this country illegally are the 21st century slaves, 20th and 21st century slaves in the United States. We've been practicing slavery for 60, 70, 80 years. They're either labor trafficked, sex trafficked. And this whole clowny deal, we had what's the 14-year-olds unaccompanied at the weed farm there in Camarillo. This was more shocking video down in Texas. This is a Chinese sex slave allegedly being kidnapped back or taken back to the brothel or whatever by a Haitian illegal immigrant. That's what the report is saying. Here we go. We thought.
Right there, showing the woman being carried away by a man. Katira Winfrey spoke to a neighbor whose home security camera alerted him that something was not right.
She was kicking and screaming. He was carrying her, and it just stood out to me as.
Police say this video shows a glimpse of a Chinese immigrant woman's attempted escape from suspected trafficker Jose Carcamo. Authorities say he's the man seen carrying the struggling victim back to where she'd reportedly been held captive for days.
Held captive for days. And again, genetics, Chinese, Asians are on the short side, but the way that guy's carrying that girl, unless he's like 7'1", I mean, I'm guessing she's probably in her teens somewhere. But it really doesn't matter if she's a minor or that. Like we said, the good-looking ones went into the sex trade. The not-so-good-looking ones went into the labor trafficking. Slaves, sex slaves, labor slaves. You're not free to walk around. Oh, if you leave the makeshift brothel, big old Jose or whatever is going to grab you by the hair and drag you back into the bedroom, say, earn me more money. What, 500,000? We don't know the number. Kids, they don't have any idea with. Homan said they've at least recovered 10,000 of them. They've identified maybe half of them of where they're at. The others, they don't know. Well, now we're seeing what happens. So again, all y'all that are boo-hoo-hooing, oh, ICE and mean and sexist, homophobe, turn them into, run and hide. This is what's going on. Here's the short story of the ICE raid at the Stater Brothers in Ontario. Here we go. We thought.
Ordering restrictions on raids. Those federal immigration efforts continue.
Community activists in Ontario are demanding answers today after ICE agents went into a grocery store today to make an arrest. These videos were recorded by witnesses who even followed the federal agents as they went inside a Stater Brothers grocery on Holt Boulevard. The greatest outrage appears to be directed at Ontario police. The community activists say it appeared officers were supporting ICE.
People that were here, people that saw everything that was going on, say that Ontario PD was not only here to give information or to protect, the community, they actually engaged in this operation, which is a clear violation of California law.
It's just, we're living in terror. Even though we are citizens, we're still living in terror and afraid to go out.
If you're a citizen and why are you afraid? You have no reason to be afraid. And if Ontario cops are around when the ICE agents or whomever, they're peace officers, law enforcement officers. It's their job. They have jurisdiction in California, from Eureka to frickin' San Diego, from Blythe to Los Angeles, 24/7, 365. Let's cut to crap. If you're sitting there and you're afraid, I don't know what to tell you. I bet you were in Mexico, you'd be a lot more afraid. California's, you don't believe me? California's some of the worst schools in the nation.
The lower half of the nation, according to a new study.
30 out of 50. Researchers at Wallet Hub took into account categories like performance, funding, safety, class size, and instructor credentials. We were the number 2 in the nation in the unfortunate category of high school students who were threatened or injured. The study put our state schools in the category of high spending and weak school system.
High spending. This is Fox 11, Victor Manuel Perez. High spending, low output. Number 2 for threatened or injured students in high school. High spending and a weak system. School boards, Sammy Luna, Joanna Olivia, Rhodes Williams, Zamora, Young, Dr. Airhead, some of the school board members around here in the Inland Empire, the Rue superintendent. How do you answer that? There's the evidence. There's the proof. Taking one of the best, number 1 school system 30 years ago in the United States and turned it into trash. California, home to some of America's least educated cities, study says. Another Fox 11 report. So when you hear, or when you boo-hoo-hoo, I don't know why you ladies, moms, way better dealing with the kids than we are. That's why we call you the smarter half of the population. Why you're not at every school board meeting screaming bloody murder of what's happening to your kids in the schools in California. It's so bad. Lindsay Snyder, billionaire heiress of the In-N-Out Burger fortune, said the hell with, you can't raise kids in this state. Headed to Franklin, Tennessee. Mom of 4 kids. Can live anywhere she wants. Could live in the French Riviera. Live in Beverly Hills, on Malibu Beach, wherever. Going to Franklin, freaking Tennessee. The mass exodus, number 1 in U-Hauls going out, last in U-Hauls coming in, mass exodus of people for decades. If it wasn't for illegal immigration, not regular immigration, illegal immigration, California would be a declining population. We would be lucky. Texas might even surpass us because of the mess we've made. We'll hit some of the local genre. Upland cops had a dude that was drunker than a skunk, or they said, well, not quite those words, but was in the driveway of a home. Yeah, they pulled in, they said, get out of the car. Well, they decided to take off, ran in, got in a crash, crashed into another car. Sad story out of the Hamilton Police Department. K9 Duke passed away on that. So, our rest easy, K9 Duke. I hadn't heard of this one, but I guess people in Lake Elsinore have been getting power outages up the wazoo in there, and they've just about had it, and rightly so. I believe. An 80-year-old man was reported missing for 2 days. His body was found over the weekend on a Rancho Cucamonga horse trail. San Bernardino Police Department responded to a shooting at A1 Tires located on Baseline, where they found a man shot and very critically wounded sitting in a car. Facts, yes. Let's hope they all go to jail. Shooting happened in Harupa Valley. The second suspect has been arrested. 2 men were arrested while 3 taken into custody in a Mead Valley 2007 cold case murder. Big story coming up. We'll get into this later this week. Is the Inland Empire becoming or going back to being Republican? What do the numbers say? A local SoCal surf instructor undergoes surgery to have a severed arm reattached, and she's dreaming, and I hope she does, of the day she's paddling back in the ocean. Suspect arrested hours after a woman who was inspecting her vehicle on the side of the 215 was hit by a suspected DUI driver. Update, a motorcycle cop was impersonating in a traffic stop in Hemet, according to Action 9 News. Moval arrested a duo on vehicle theft. French Valley, deputies got in a shootout with a man down there. Yeah, this is why I don't watch no ball sports. And Trump's exactly right. It's the Redskins, baby. If they bring back the Redskins name, Washington Redskins, Cleveland Indians, I'll consider watching the no balls games again. And no kneeling in the national anthem or none of that. It's not 100% negotiable, but if they're pulling this woke crap, screw them. I haven't watched a game in, I think, 5 years. Don't miss it a bit. See what we can catch up with the last few here. Rialto Police or Department recognizes their explorers on that, so good job there. Motorcycle rider and Tesla die in Temescal Valley traffic collision. Deputies arrest a theft suspect who sold several bottles of booze at a retail store in Rancho Cucamonga. There it is, man dies during a gunfight with deputies in a French Valley home. All the different sub-towns of Harupa Valley. And if you've been around a while, you know Belltown, Indian Wells, Harupa Wells, Mariloma, Crestmore Heights, Pedley, Sunny Slope, Glen Avon, and Ruby Doo. Of that. One more. San Jacinto cops got a good deal of there, and that's it. We just smoked it in, just in a nick of time. That'll do it for today. As we usually say at this time, mandatory you're back here in 23 Hours Why to hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Till then, see ya!
Proceeding was a paid program.
All right, Roy, take it easy. I will talk to you Friday.
You got it.
Bye now.